There we go. The buttons just started showing me numbers, so I'm happy now. I can start. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Thrashers Paradise, the Witch Edition, as I am joined with vocalist to the thrash metal band from California.
Yes,
Phantom Witch, which you can hear a lot of on J-Hoff Films in one video. Because Chris wears your T-shirt a lot. That is a true fact.
him and our drummer and kind of band mastermind, Quentin, him and Chris are good buddies. So definitely we see a lot of love from Chris, and we got a lot of love for what he does for the metal and the thrash community.
Excellent. Now, how did Phantom Witch and Chris from J-Hoff Films, a band from California and a guy from Toronto, Canada, end up finding each other?
I wasn't there necessarily personally for it, but Chris definitely has his ear to the ground when it comes to up and coming thrash metal bands. There's been we have our own rumblings of what we're doing. He's an outgoing guy. He loves to be social and just meet the people that are big in the metal community, and he likes to make connections, and they just hit it off like a couple of brothers.
Awesome. What's it like for you personally to have your band logo and songs heard on a, well, we can say this, a popular metal YouTube channel?
We're really lucky, that we are received so well. We have just nothing but admiration and nothing but respect for, people that want to listen to our music and check us out. And, we put a lot of hard work into it. So I think that shows in people like Chris who, definitely represent us and feel like we're definitely a band to check out and follow.
Excellent. Now, I know in 2018 you released a 4-song EP, I believe, for
Yes.
a smaller one, and then last year in 2019 you released a full-length album with those songs on it. What made you want to put those songs on that album?
Kind of a quick background of the band. The beginning of Phantom Witch and hearing what up until now has basically been the brainchild of Quentin Miner, our drummer. A lot of these songs kind of have been developed over time, and they've kind of been around for quite a few years. So with just some member changes, and then trying to catch up, getting things recorded, there were a lot of songs that he had already anticipated were going to come out on a full-length album. At the time that they had put it out, they had these 4 songs ready to go, edited in a form that we could put out and or could be put out at the time before I joined the band. That 4-song demo actually features a different bassist and vocalist from what you hear on Death as We Know It.
Wow, that is a very interesting fact of information I did not know. That's pretty cool. Now, past 2 years you did release something. Can we expect something this year, kind of, to go for that 3 years in a row trend? Even if it's just a single?
It's absolutely our intent to be putting out another album this year. It's already written. All the music's done. We've already begun recording, demoing songs, pre-production. Lyrics are about 95% done. So the album that we have, album number 2, is pretty much written and ready to rock. Right now we're just working out some of the kinks and getting everything recorded, getting everything to be sent to be mixed and mastered.
Excellent. Now, does this whole coronavirus kind of speed up the process because of how much free time a lot of musicians are having?
Yes and no. For us, we want to be able to play the songs live, fluid, solid, know them 100%. The songs have been around. We have been practicing them a lot, but, there has been a little bit of, obviously hang up with being able to hang out, be in groups, and doing practice together. But the guys are at home, just studying, our all the songs, and we've got a majority of things pretty much already recorded. But there's just some things to finish off, some solos, and I still have to do all my vocals, and we still have to do drums. But it's basically at the pace that we can do it, which is not too bad right now.
Excellent. Now, you did mention the shows. I know from your Instagram, you guys are consistently doing a show. Is that hard for you guys to kind of be off of that, not doing a show as frequently as usual?
Well, yeah. We had a bunch of stuff that we wanted to line up and play this year. We were going to be playing a show with Wolf King and Vale Panath on their tour. They were coming here to Santa Cruz, and then we had a few other shows that were set up that we kind of wanted to play and get knocked out before we get too deep into the recording session. Because kind of once we start recording, we don't want to play any more shows. We just want to focus and put out a good product. So, we already hadn't played in a little while since last year. We had ended out the year playing with Goat Whore in December in San Francisco. So this show that we were going to be playing here in March, we were really excited about, and just super bummed when it got canceled.
Yeah, it was hard that this all came down so rapidly, just all the shows getting canceled all at once. Now, I know a lot of bands are going to be eager to get back on a touring schedule, or at least performing shows as soon as they get the green light. Is Phantom Witch going to be that band that waits until all the immediate concert phase is done and just wait for them to shine with a show that will be promoted fully for people to know? Or are you going to be part of that crazy, like, mass gathering of bands putting on shows?
I mean, it's really hard to say. It's it's unpredictable as to what venues are even going to be around after this, to be totally honest. We've seen that this pandemic, or whatever you want to call it, has been really detrimental to so many businesses across the world. There's businesses around here in the Bay Area. We just had a very significant music venue, Slim's, closed down. I don't think it was all directed because of the coronavirus here, but that's just one of the major names that's been taken down. So I mean, what the future of booking shows is going to look like, I mean, it's hard to say. Every day is different, every hour is different. How long it's going to be, it's just hard to say, really.
That is very true, because God only knows what will be opening back up once this whole thing is done. That doesn't even just mean concert venues, like businesses as well, because this could really impact a lot of lives.
It really can. And yeah, I mean, it's safe to say that the longer this goes on, the more businesses and especially music venues could be lost. So that's a real big worry. I think that's a number one worry for a lot of bands. If there's no place to play, then what are we going to be able to do after that?
Exactly. Now, you as you mentioned, you are from the Bay Area, and the Bay Area is known for its thrash metal. What makes Phantom Witch different from the other local thrash bands in the Bay Area?
Um, it's that would be, I guess, up to the listener, but we just have a lot of elements that we love, that we take from bands like Metallica or Megadeth. But then we have immense love for the new thrash bands that are coming out with, like, Warbringer and Havoc. And I think we've really been able to kind of mesh the two together to make a real modern sound that kind of stands out a little bit from maybe some of our other, straightforward thrash brothers that are playing, maybe more old school stuff, stuff that's more familiar in how it's structured. But, we've definitely been saying what you guys are going to hear on the next album. We're going to take a step up that we're just so proud of. This album, this we're going to be putting out is just going to be just a completely different animal than Death as We Know It.
Now, what makes this album completely different from Death as We Know It?
I think with the new fresh additions and ideas, some of the songs, or a lot of the songs that are heard on Death as We Know It, are a little bit older. So there has been an immense amount of growth throughout the band between when those songs were written previously and where we are now. So you're going to see, pretty much the large gap. There's so many more different new elements that we're putting in. Not every minute is going to be punching you in the face necessarily, but it's going to add something that I think people are really going to really love and enjoy and dig out.
Awesome. Now, as soon as this whole thing is over and you get the green light to go back and perform shows, who would you want immediately to perform a show with?
Oh, well, there's so many bands out there right now. There's so many young guns too. We are supposed to be playing a show next month. We've got a bunch of young up and coming metal bands and thrash metal bands, from Sepsis to Violent Legacy to Plague, Hemotoxin. There's so many bands here. We are really lucky. It's, you can almost call it an oversaturation of talent here, pretty much in the Bay Area. The list is endless of guys that we would want to play with. It doesn't necessarily have to be thrash bands, but just heavy bands and just our brothers that we just, that we play and see and hang out with all the time.
Awesome. I'm sorry. My kitten is like playing with her toy, and it distracted me from what I was thinking about.
No worries. I know how that can be.
Yeah. So, speaking of this touring thing, do you think maybe not this year, but maybe down the line next year, you might be able to make your ways up to the Great White North in Canada to do a show?
Yeah, if the opportunity presents itself. I think right now we're kind of working on dominating more of the States. We've done a few tours that have gone up more towards the upper Northwest. So we're going to want to expand, I think, a little bit more towards like the southern states down here, more like Arizona, New Mexico, Texas, Colorado. Those are kind of like some of the dates and some of the cities we had talked about. But you never know what could happen. And yeah, we've definitely talked about coming to Canada. We've gotten messages about coming up to Canada. I know I want to go for sure. So, it's always in the cards.
Glad to hear that. Now, let's talk about a country that's closer to you, Mexico, kind of, I guess. Yeah? Has there been any, offers for you guys to head down to Mexico to perform a show?
I can't say that we've gotten any offer per se. I think just, people wanting us to, hitting us up and asking us when we're going to come down. But I can't say anything for Mexico quite yet. But another place, we would all love to go, I'm sure. There's plenty of amazing legendary bands that have played down there. And, we'd love to be another one that jams down there too.
Excellent. Now, what about the great country of Brazil? Because they are in high demand of metal bands.
Yeah, wherever the world wants us, if the opportunity is there and, the dates and finances and all that, equate, then, we'd love to do it. It's pretty expensive when, you're kind of a band that's still trying to, make recognition for yourself to be able to travel so far. So, I think that's kind of why we're probably worried on more dominating here in the States than anywhere else right at the time now.
Fair enough, and very good points. Now, to kind of stay with the topic, but I'm going to ask a general question. For you personally, where has been the one country that you weren't expecting to have a fan in?
Well, I mean, I'd say, you look at some of the Spotify numbers and they tell you, how many countries are listening to you, and we're right there with just about any other artist. I think we're in some hundred and some odd countries. So anywhere that listens to us, anybody that wants to listen to us, I mean, is just we're really stoked on. There's so many bands out there, and there's so much amazing music that's being put out every single day. So the fact that we're clawing and scratching and promoting and trying to get the music out to as many people and seeing it be all over the world as it is, I mean, every country is amazing. So it's hard to answer that question.
Fair enough. More now with this whole pandemic going on, a lot of bands have been dominating their social media pages, promoting whatever they're doing the best they can. Is that in Phantom Witch's cards to promote excuse my French, but the shit out of your content and your music and just your name?
Yeah, I mean, it's always been important, but I think maybe even more now than ever, since everybody's inside, so they can focus on it so much more. Um, like I said, we're kind of, we are in the process of recording the second album, so we are putting together videos, and we'll be putting together playthroughs, and show people what we're up to. So just getting the film all together and editing it and getting all that together. So we'll definitely be putting out some pretty decent content here, hopefully pretty soon.
Awesome. Now, a lot of bands have been doing live streams of either mini shows or even Q&As. Could Phantom Witch be doing one of those two within the next couple of weeks during this pandemic?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll probably just get a time together, get all the boys on a call, and stream it live, and yeah, probably do something like that. I know we should. It's some of us are still working, so um, trying to get everybody's schedules together sometimes can be a little difficult. But yeah, we'll definitely get something together.
Excellent. And I just want to say, lucky, you guys still can work.
Yeah, I mean, a few of us can. You know, my wife being one of them. I'm very lucky right now that she's able to work, and she's been able to go out there and brave it and be one of the essential folks that is required to run a company, and she's definitely one of those people. So we gotta be stoked for those people that are keeping the show running.
Exactly. God bless them, and God bless the fact that they are still out there doing the best they can with what crappy situations happening right now.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Now, just to ask this as a general human being, how bad is it down in the Bay Area?
Um, it's we're hit hard like a lot of other places. Here specifically where I am in Santa Cruz, we're okay. We've been fairly lucky without too many cases. Um, it's hard to say. We talk about it, and there's so much information out there. There's so many numbers. There's so much conflicting information. So, you know, there have been a lot of cases, but what those cases mean, and we haven't seen too many deaths here in the Bay Area, so I think we've been fairly lucky so far.
God bless. That's amazing to hear. And now it's time to ask our hardest hitting question yet. We ask this with every band. We call it a poser question to ensure we're not talking to just some random guy we found at the corner store about to drink some alcohol, and we just said, "Hey, you're coming on."
Oh shit! Okay. Let's hope
question,
I'm not a poser.
the question is simple: who would win in a fight, Lemmy or God?
Oh, Lemmy, obviously. The fuck.
Hey,
You had me
hey,
scared there for a second.
hey, I had one band say, and I quote this, and I can't believe this. They asked, Who's Lemmy?"
Oh yeah. Well, some kids today They are not knowledgeable in the world of their elders.
No, they are not. Zach, thank you so much for coming on Thrashers Paradise today. Is there anything else you'd like to say to the people watching this on YouTube?
Definitely check out Phantom Witch. We're on Facebook and Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Check out our debut album that we put out last year, Death as We Know It. And keep your eyes peeled on our social medias for some, hopefully some upcoming announcements about some new music.
Excellent. And until next time, Thrashers, just keep on thrashing. Inside, of course.
Yep. Stay safe, my brothers.
I'm dying, flee from